Okay, I think I am actually finally set up here.
All right.
So, should we roll the recording?
Let me adjust this.
Papa Booey,
Oh
Papa
yeah,
Booey. Okay, here we go.
Baba Booey. I'm ready to rock.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Off the Cut, a podcast where we talk about building, making,
And answering all of your questions.
I'm Eric from Spenceley Design Co.
And I'm Zach from Zach Builds. If you have a question that you would like us to answer on air, you can send it to offthecutpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find both of us on YouTube, Instagram, and unfortunately, because we have to keep up with the kids, you can find us on TikTok too.
All right, now let's get into the show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Off the Cut episode 28. We're up in Canada. Today is known as Tuesday, August 23rd. But here in the States, today is respectfully dedicated to the food of the day. And it's fitting because we're leaving for vacation in like a day. It's Coconut Week. I don't know how Coconut Week is a food of the day.
Yeah, that doesn't
but
track
that's
very
what
well.
it said. So I don't know. I'll go for it.
Yeah, well, what's your feeling on coconut?
I mean, I like some coconut water or milk or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, not me. I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, it's a hangover cure. That's the only use for it.
Yeah.
But as far as like eating coconut, I mean, I could do without it. I don't mind like a little bit on like a cookie or something like that, but
yeah, I'll tolerate like a little bit like sprinkled on top of a pastry, but the water and just eating the flesh by itself, not for me. Not for me.
What about like a coconut alcoholic beverage?
Maybe. I mean, I've had what's that, like Malibu rum, where it's like.
I mean, that hardly counts as alcohol.
Yeah, I know.
It's like 10%.
Yeah.
Speaking of alcohol, vacation's starting early.
Nice.
You know,
I respect
whiskey.
this. So I'm gonna apologize to all the live stream viewers right now because my hair is absolutely atrocious.
Dude, it looks great.
This is what it looks like because I wear the hat all the time when I'm in shop to keep the hair or the dust out of my hair.
Here, I'll join you. I'll take mine off.
Yes, nice. I like this solidarity.
I
was saying to Eric before the show, I was working late in the shop, so I ran home to do this. Stripped off all my like work clothes as I was going towards my office, put on some fresh stuff, and then just sat right down and got to it. So I'm a little disheveled right now.
You know, I'm a little disheveled too because I got this tin cup whiskey, and you can see I've already
you've done some damage.
Deleted quite a large amount of it, but I've never just drank it straight. I usually mix it in a cocktail because it was pretty cheap. It's not great by itself.
I've never drank a spirit consistently enough to develop a real taste for it.
Okay,
that's
something you can start.
Yeah, I might start it, but I don't know. It's alcohol at the end of the day. Like it can taste interesting, but it'll never taste good.
I disagree. Sometimes you can get a real one where you're like, I would disagree with that because sometimes you ever get like a cocktail where as soon as you taste it, you go, oh man, this could be dangerous.
Yeah, okay, yes, that's true. That is very true.
Real easy drinker.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But at the end of the day, like, aren't you just you're cramming a poison into your body and you're just trying to find like the best, most palatable version of the poison?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, speaking of poison, I'm going to make a note. I want to talk to you about Timberland Pro and the Aftershow.
Okay. You know it's not gonna be positive when you're like, let's do it in the after show.
Let's talk about poisonous relationships.
Oh jeez. Oh man.
But anyway, sorry, I got so many things written down on the notes this week.
True to form, I still haven't looked at the notes.
No, it's all good. I actually want to start off tonight with our favorite segment of things that drive me nuts.
Oh yes, please.
So I was over at my buddy's house. It's my friend's mom's house. We were like doing a bunch of projects and stuff for her because she just moved in.
Sure.
And she had I guess his brother has having a kid, or it's like a baby party thing. I don't know what all of the vernacular is.
There's a baby around and they're being celebrated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we were out hanging out. Whenever I go to someone's house, I always navigate towards a fire pit because I can just get a beer and just hang out and chat. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
not 1,000 people, and it's just,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
relaxing.
Yeah, you set up shop at the fire pit and people kind of like rotate through
Yes.
and you can have like a nice intimate conversation with like one or two people.
Exactly.
And then like, yeah, and then that can be your spot for the night. It's great. I do the same thing a lot.
You're not going through the kitchen going, oh, excuse me. Like, this is awkward. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm out at the fire pit all night. And we have like torches out and stuff like that. So we're trying to like, no mosquitoes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the next day, it literally looks, I probably have 300 mosquito bites on my feet and ankles.
Oh.
It is brutal.
Oh, I watched a video recently of, I've never done the thing where, like if the mosquito lands on your arm and then you flex and it like pushes blood into the mosquito and they just pop.
Yeah.
I watched a video of somebody doing that recently. But
Did it actually work?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just next time you're like sitting at the fire pit and you're getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, just constantly flex different parts of your body and they'll just pop all over you.
I mean, I do that regularly to try to attract mates.
Yeah, fair enough. Doing the peck dance.
That's so weird when people do that.
I know.
Oh God. But first of all, I guess before we get into the thick of things, let's get some important things out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any new patrons this week, but anyone listening can be our new patron next week.
Yeah, we got spots open for you. We will.
We do.
If we, you know what? We are so committed to this shtick. I gotta hit my
Committed to that dick.
Oh, explicit.
Okay.
Does that count? I don't know. Does it count?
I don't know. That's a name. Richard.
We are so committed to the shtick of saying new patrons' names. We will spend an entire episode saying new patron names if we get that many new patrons.
I'm down for that. But our returning top tier patrons this week.
Drum roll,
we got
please.
Wes Willard,
Scott Eastman,
and let me just say that when we asked for people to submit some questions, Corey Duvall did not mess around, man.
Yeah.
I think he sent us 14 questions.
Corey, by the way, doing a little bit of scuba diving, I believe.
Scuba diving, huh?
Yeah. He was sending me some pictures of the place he's going. It's pretty cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
We're actually going to try something on vacation. I don't know. Did I mention? I mentioned it on the podcast. I don't know if it was before. Just about to leave for vacation. We're trying something called Snuba. Do you know what that is?
No.
So think of it as basically you're going scuba diving. However, it requires no certification. And you're effectively connected to a hose that's on the boat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no friends that have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't horribly expensive. And I was like, let's give it a shot.
So when I was in St. Martin, I guess, I don't know, 6 months ago, something like that, we there was this crashed helicopter just off the shore from one of the beaches. So me and my friends and my girlfriend, we all snorkeled out there and checked it out. And when we got there, we were like, what is that? There's like a walkway down around the crashed helicopter under, like 20, 30 feet underwater. So we're like, what's this walkway doing down there?
Like a sidewalk underwater.
Yeah, like say you're in a factory. It was like metal and it had like a floor and a guardrail the whole way around. So we asked some of the locals, and what it is I think something very similar to this. There's like a stationary boat at the top, and they just drop people down there with like a helmet on and nothing else. And as long as you stay in the helmet, you can walk around underwater and check out the helicopter.
Yeah, I think that's a similar concept.
Yeah, what you're doing sounds a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more legit than this. This was like literally like 30 feet of underwater, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like walkway or whatever.
It's like a scaffolding almost.
Exactly. Seems pretty underwhelming. I was like, I can just get out here with my snorkel mask on and dive down and see everything that I need to see. I don't need to put a old, what do they call the old timey scuba suits?
Like those like big steel helmets with like the circle thing with like the X's in
Yeah.
front of the eyes.
Yeah, there's a name for that I'm struggling to remember right now.
I don't know. Scuba helmet.
Um,
It's like oh, what is the old diving? It's called a bonnet.
oh,
B O
bonnet.
N N
Okay,
E
okay.
T.
Maybe I didn't know the word for it then.
Or a bonnet. I mean, I don't speak German, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I never know how to I'll ask my mom how to pronounce it.
Is your what is your ethnicity like if you go far enough back?
Dude, I couldn't even tell
Couldn't
you.
tell you. Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure it's
just
probably like
generic white guy.
European. I mean, look at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure it's European. It's probably German or
Mhm.
English or
Mhm. Mhm.
something.
Yeah, Spenceley doesn't have like a I don't know. I couldn't place Spenceley on a map if you asked me to. Other than,
No.
I could draw a bubble around Europe.
I don't know. I've always wondered. What about you? What's your ethnicity heritage?
My mom's side's really easy to do because she was first generation, so it's all Irish.
Mhm.
And then on my dad's side, I don't know. It's a little bit more of a question mark. Seems like there's probably a little bit of English in there, but they had lived in Canada for a little while, so I think my dad's like second or third generation Canadian.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've always been See, this is another one we should have added to our conspiracy episode.
Ooh.
I've always been kind of interested in taking one of those like ancestry
Oh, I did that.
DNA test
Yeah, yeah,
things,
yeah. I did that.
but I've heard horrible, and again, this is probably just conjecture, it's conspiracy. I've heard all these horrible things that like they take all of your information and like sell it off to companies and all this kind of stuff and like insurance companies and all kinds of stuff. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
oh,
I
that
mean,
kind of makes me a little uncomfortable. I'm sure they do it.
I get all these flyers in the mail that are like, "Hey, you're 1/3 Cherokee." Like,
Donate to this
yeah,
fund,
exactly.
right? Yeah. So how did you do it? Walk me through the process of one of those
Okay.
those kits.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Not
obviously,
sponsored.
go on their website, order the kit. I think it was like $120 or something like that. So, not nothing, but also not super expensive for DNA testing. Spit in a tube, send it back to them, and then you create a profile on their website. And then at a certain point, 4 or 5 weeks later, something like that, you just start getting data coming in. Like, so not only is it your genealogy, like where your family's from, but they also give you like I know for existence I'm at like a slightly elevated risk for Alzheimer's.
Oh,
Um
interesting.
so there's some things and like slightly higher risk for celiac disease and a couple other things. So
Hmm.
that aspect of it's kind of interesting. And then they have genetic traits. So you know how like some people have like a widow's peak?
Oh yeah.
They'll tell you if you have stuff like that or if you're more likely to have it, whether or not you definitely have it. There's some interesting ones too. I think I have the gene for cilantro tasting like soap,
Really?
but I don't actually it's not super I wouldn't say cilantro tastes like soap, but there is like a soapy tinge to it. And I have
Okay.
that gene, so it kind of makes sense.
So like if you go to Chipotle and get the white rice, are you like, man, not a huge fan of this?
Yes, definitely.
So do you go
100%.
brown?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm trying to think. There's cool data in there. Like they give you a breakdown of a bunch of different things. I have a genetic trait that makes me less susceptible to sleep deprivation. Which
Not a
they
bad thing to have.
yeah, exactly. They're like I gave you I think the two or three bad ones I have, but most of them were actually pretty good. Uh, so yeah, it's nice, and it's good to know if you're like at risk of certain diseases, because there are things you can do to help, like alleviate some of those risks. Like there are
Hmm.
things like I know I'm slightly more at risk for Alzheimer's, so there are things that I can do in my life. I don't do them obviously because YOLO, but one theoretically could.
Like cognitive training and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's like simple stuff like trying to get 8 hours sleep every night is like can like reduce your risk of Alzheimer's by like 80% or something like that. So
Really?
yeah, yeah.
See, both my mom's parents had dementia and
Right.
Alzheimer's. I always say Alzheimer's, but I know
Alzheimer's.
that's not it. It's just what comes out, and even though I know it's incorrect.
Oh well, yeah. What is it actually? Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably named after someone.
Most definitely is. My grandma was starting to get either a touch of dementia or Alzheimer's when she
Mm,
passed. Yeah.
it was wild. I mean,
Dude, that's one of the most scary diseases to me. Because
yeah, I'm
I don't know.
like, luckily they were in a home at the time, but it was like,
Yeah.
it's just to cope with it. You just kind of have to be like, yeah, grandma, you already told me the story, even though it's just like, it gets sad, but
It does. I
it
mean,
is
and
what it
yeah,
is.
you kind of got to play along, right? Like it's because as soon as you start trying to fight them on it, like, Grandma, you already told me this, like, shut up. Then they're like, that's horrible for them, right? So you have to be like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a very interesting story. Like, thank you for sharing that with me. And then
Yeah.
rinse and repeat for the next 3 hours that you're visiting with Grandma.
And then you're not trying to like get them all disoriented and upset and stuff like that, but it
Exactly.
is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's
So,
yeah. Grandparents is scary. I mean, end of life is scary in general, to be frank.
dude, I couldn't do it. But
Yeah.
so, not to get off on a sad tangent, we
Mm-hmm.
got one of our listeners,
Mm-hmm.
and actually this stemmed from a broader thing. Uh, I put out that video the other day. I did the how I lost half my business
I still
video.
haven't watched it yet. Is it doing
Oh
well?
well, dude, it is blowing up.
Oh, nice. Sick.
Yeah, it's almost at 25,000 views in
I-
like a day and a half,
oh, wow.
which
That's
for me is
fantastic.
huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
like 100% of your subscribers right there, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Congrats, man.
So anyway, like, dude, I just want to say to everybody, the support has been overwhelming on that. Like,
Oh,
I
that's
think
great.
there's only been 2 negative comments, and it's just just people being dicks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and it's fantastic. It's very humbling
That's
to
great.
hear all the support from people, and it's like the whole video was not buy stuff, send stuff to me. But dude, I've had a lot of people just like make donations and
Oh,
like
wow.
be like, "Hey, can I like send you some tools or like send you lumber and stuff?" I was like, "There's no need to do that," but
Oh,
like
that's
it's very
fantastic.
humbling to
Yeah,
like get
yeah.
that sort of support from people. But
Well, it's a testament to how much, you matter to other people, right? Because
mm,
it's easy as, a content creator, you get like in your bubble of like, I'm just making videos, and you kind of forget the other side of it, that there are like real people watching.
yeah,
And in this case, quite a number of them. And you are a person. If they watch all your videos consistently, you're a person in their life. And
yeah.
yeah, so
I mean, so far it has 688 comments on it
wow,
already
that's crazy.
in like a day and a half, which is
Yeah.
bananas. Like
Yeah,
I
that's awesome.
never get that sort of response. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But so one of the people that I remember this name because I was messaging him back and forth in the comments a little bit. It's from Mitchell Robson, and so Mitchell actually sent in an email. And he says, "My name is Mitchell Robson, and I, like Zach, am from the six. Is that like your
Oh,
zip code or something,
yeah. So the
or
zip
your
code,
postcode?
the no, the area code for your phone is
Oh,
416, and then there's 6 boroughs to Toronto.
okay, okay.
So it's yeah, yeah,
So you must be from Toronto then."
yes,
Anyway, he goes, "Long time listener, first time caller. Just wanted to say that I really enjoy the podcast." Thanks, man.
yeah. Thank you.
Um, I also wanted to express some of my thoughts on the topics you guys have talked about. I wouldn't say that I'm a Milwaukee fanboy, but I am all in on the M18 lineup.
Fair.
I am 100% the guy who doesn't charge his batteries often enough. Guilty.
Yeah.
And having all the tools on the same platform means that I will never inevitably find a battery that has some charge to it.
Mm-hmm.
As for your comments on one episode on the beam saws, I own the 10 1/4 inch corded beam saw
Okay.
for cutting fence posts and deck railings in
Uh,
place in one pass or two passes for up to a full 8x8.
wow.
So I guess if it's an 8x8, even with a 10 1/4 inch saw, you're probably only getting what 3.5 or so inches of cut
Yeah, and
depth.
what's an 8x8? It's like 7 1/4, I guess, is the true dimension of it.
Yeah, so you'd have to do the 8x8.
Yeah.
What are you building, like a boat dock?
Yeah, it's true. You don't even see 8x8s at most lumber yards. That's like special order stuff.
Yeah, I would think so. But then he goes on to say, I wanted to spread some knowledge because we were talking about like fractions and decimals and
Yeah.
stuff during that segment. He says, I want to spread some knowledge on one of the best apps that I found for just general building. And I've
Oh,
never heard this, but I
okay.
looked it up. Dude, this thing looks sweet. Um, it's the DeWalt Mobile Pro app.
Oh, I
So
didn't
it
even know
does
about this.
fractional calculations as well as most conversions you'd ever need. It's really helpful. And you said enjoy the podcast. But we appreciate you rating in. So I
Yeah,
actually
I'm gonna go download
looked
that
up
app.
that app
Yeah, I'm
and it
downloading it right
has
now.
tons of like project estimations. So like if you're trying to do concrete, you can like enter in like the size area that you're doing and it will like calculate how much concrete you need to buy and like all these project stuff. So check it out.
I don't think it's available in Canada.
Oh.
Oh, or maybe it's an iOS thing. Maybe it's not for Android.
Oh, that could be it.
Let's see. Walt Mobile Pro Android. Uh. Yeah, I don't think it's.
Must be US only then. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know what app that I actually just stopped using? And you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'll
Okay.
back it up.
Okay.
Audible.
Oh, yeah, I do think you're crazy.
Okay.
But hit me
So
with your reasoning.
you and I are all in on the audiobooks,
Oh
right?
yeah, I was listening to. I've been listening to the economic history of Germany uh, between World War One and leading up until after because they went through this big hyperinflationary period. So I was listening
Okay.
to that all day long today.
But see, like if you're sanding, I can listen to music, but like sometimes like oh, this is so monotonous. I need something that's mentally engaging so I can just kind of zone out on the sanding or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Well, Audible's fantastic. They don't pay us anything. I've used their service for years. And part of part of the work from home life is that you join these like like Skype meetings
Hmm.
and you inevitably join and there's one other person and we'll just say this person's name is Carl. And you get on there and you're like, "Oh, damn it. It's
Hmm.
just Carl." And then Carl starts all this small talk and it's just like, "Dude, like you're a nice guy. I really don't want to talk to you." Well, anyway, this Carl character always joins these meetings, and I'm just like, oh. So we joined one the other day, and it's just me and Carl. And he's just like talking to me about books and stuff. And it's just like, for the most part, like I really don't care for other people's book suggestions
Yeah,
because
it's
usually
tough,
it's nothing relevant to what I would want to read
and
typically.
it's like it's it's a big ask of somebody, right? Like
Yeah.
what's an audiobook? Low end 8 hours, high end 20, 30. It's like
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna, like I gotta thoroughly research something. I'm not just gonna take like Carl from accounting's recommendation on a
Exactly.
30-hour endeavor, right?
Right. Right. Thank you. And so anyway, he's talking about books, and I'm just like not even really paying attention. And then he goes, "Have you heard of this app?" And I'm gonna forget what it's called. Called Libby,
Oh
Libby.
no.
And I'm just like, no, just like really not paying attention. He goes, "Well, I used to use Audible," and I'm like, "Okay,
Starting to pay attention.
I'm paying attention now, Carl. I didn't listen to anything you were saying before." And he goes, "So it is literally Audible. However, it's 100% free." And I'm like, "Okay, what are you going to tell me? It's just blasted with ads, right?"
Hmm.
No, no ads, nothing.
Oh.
How it works is you enter like your public library card number into it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And so then like whatever book you want to buy or like listen to or whatever, they have like X amount of people who can listen to it at a time and you can just like get in a wait list or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I was like,
Um.
this is sweet.
So I've experimented with that before with the Canadian version of it. I think there's like a Toronto Public Library app that has similar functionality, but I found one, the search was horrible,
Oh, the
and
search is awful.
yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't find the things I wanted, and then yeah, like you're like I'd like to listen to this book, and it's like, well, the wait list is 15 people. We have one copy for the entire city. I'm like, this is a
Yeah.
digital good. Like I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So my way around it is I went and like, oh, somebody
oh,
just paid me. What
oh,
did I get paid for? uh what was I saying? The way I get around it is I like go and I put like 15 or 20 books like said that I want them.
Yeah,
And then like whenever one's available,
you just
I
grab it.
just read that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like
So
that. I if the Toronto one was better, then I would definitely do it. But it's just so bad. The selection was so limited, and the search and all the other things is like I'd rather just pay $15 a month to Amazon.
yeah, that's true. It's one of those things that's like if you can't justify that $15 a month, there is a way around it.
Yeah.
However, it definitely has you got to concede in some
Yes.
areas.
I'm surprised there isn't like some like my friend was telling me about this app like Soap TV or something like that, and it's just a
I feel like I've
pirate.
heard of that.
Yeah, it's like every movie, every TV show, but it's all illegal, right? Like it's not
Yeah,
legitimate
yeah,
in any
yeah.
way. But he uses that, so I was like, why hasn't somebody done that for audiobooks yet?
Hmm.
I know like you can torrent audiobooks, obviously, but there's nobody's like streamlined it into one place.
Yeah. And then I mean, the same thing with downloading music back in the day when you do torrent files is like
Yeah.
you think you've got what you want, and then
Yeah.
you listen to it and you're like, oh, this one's in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah. I've been burned that way many times before. Yeah.
My favorite thing back in the day with like LimeWire and Napster was when you're like, oh, I finally found this song. And then you downloaded it and it'd be like a 15-20 second clip of like Bill Clinton saying that he didn't have relations with
I
that
have
woman.
never seen that in my entire life. That's so
No?
funny. No.
Oh, I wonder if it was a US thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
That's so funny.
those were like in the very early days.
Hmm. Yeah, the one I get burned with all the time is you go and like you're like I want to download like some movie, and then you get the cam version of it, the one where it's like some guy with this like camcorder sitting in the theater recording it. It's like the
Slurping
worst.
the soda and
Yeah.
shaking the camera.
Yeah, it's like the worst quality imaginable. I've never
Mm,
been able to sit through a movie like that.
no.
Yeah.
I feel like my uncle did that at one point. He was like, hey, like I got you this movie or whatever. And I was like, oh, sweet. And it was like, like Spider-Man before it had come out or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he gives me this like shady DVD. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And I check it out. I'm like, I'm gonna get motion sickness just watching this movie.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Oh, well,
So I think last week we had discussed adding a new segment to the show where we just kind of talk about what we're working on.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you go first? What are you working on?
Well, today I had so I'm working on a table right now, and I guess I'll talk about what the whole concept is. You're familiar with the whole NFT craze, right?
Yes.
So I want to make a table that is also an NFT.
Oh.
So my plan is to make a big table that is a giant QR code made up of different
Interesting.
wood blocks.
Like walnut maple or something?
Exactly. I have walnut and red oak because they're very similar in the hardness scale. So I think they'll move at a similar pace. And then I'm hoping there's enough contrast there. So my idea is that you point your phone at the table, and it immediately
Your YouTube
links.
channel.
No, it links you to the NFT for the table. So I'm going to put up the NFT
Clever.
for auction, and if somebody buys the NFT, then they get the table too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, that's a clever idea.
I was like joking around with some friends of mine, and they were like, you should do NFTs for all your builds. And then I was like, what if the build was the NFT? And then smash cut to me spending all day in the shop today cutting little wood blocks and just hating my life because it's taking so much time.
So if you had made basically just like ripped really like 8 foot long 1 inch by 1 inch strips, and
Yes.
then you could take them to the miter saw and cut them into cubes. Is that kind of how you did it?
Here's the thing with that. I've done that in the past, and it works for a little bit, but the small errors start to compound. Like even that little bit of blade deflection in a good
Yes.
miter saw. So the pattern I'm doing is 21 cubes by 21 cubes.
Oh, wow.
So it's 440
60.
individual blocks.
440. Okay. Yeah.
I think 440. So even if the blade is off 0.001 millimeters, or inches or whatever unit you want to use, it's going to end up screwing up the whole thing. So I
Mhm.
actually cut all the blocks on the CNC so I could have that precision control, like get
Okay.
get it dialed right in. But I messed up my math, so I thought my QR code was 15 by 15. And then I started working on it today. I was like, I counted these blocks wrong somehow, or something got messed up, and it's actually 21 by 21. So
Oh.
I'm now having to go back. I'm gonna have to go to the lumber yard and I have to buy a bunch more lumber because I don't have enough lumber. And the table's gonna end up being like 30% bigger than what I originally thought it was gonna be. So
Screw it.
yeah, it's what was supposed to be a 3-day build is now gonna be a 5 or 6 day build or something like that.
So how are you planning on doing the glue up?
So I'm doing it in 3 by 3 sections.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
I made a jig that's kind of like this,
And then you clamp it together.
and then you clamp it together like that, and it pushes them into a perfect square.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For the people
Mm.
just listening, I made like 2 L's with my fingers. I don't know how to describe it. It's
When you're trying to take your fingers and make like a picture frame when you're like pretending you're making a
exactly.
camera shot.
Yes, yeah,
Nobody's
exactly.
gonna be listening. Nobody's doing that at home.
So I'm making it's gonna be like 40 something. No, it's more than that. It's 49 3 by 3 cubes, and then or squares, and then I'm gonna glue all those together in 3 by 3.
Now, do you think that you're gonna have to potentially trim any of those or slightly sand them or anything?
Probably. I mean, if
Yeah.
everything went exactly right, then no. But realistically, yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of trimming. But what I'm hoping is that there's a when you do a glue joint, it doesn't have to be perfect. There can be a little bit of
Yeah.
play there, right? So I'm hoping that'll get taken up in it a little bit, and then I'm also hoping there's a little bit of error tolerance in the QR code scanning thing. Like it doesn't have to be
Yes.
perfect, and I know there actually is. There's like an algorithm because I had to make my own QR code for this that you can set like an error correction algorithm for it. So I know it
Oh.
does tolerate some small deviations, but it's gonna be a lot of work and it might not even work at the end of the day.
Oh, dude, that would be such a bummer if you spent hours and hours and hours gluing that thing up and it
Yeah,
didn't work.
I know.
So you get the project done
Hmm.
and then you make an NFT. How does
Yes.
one go about making an NFT?
Okay, well, so here I had a chicken and an egg problem with this project, right?
Yeah.
Because in order to make the table, I needed a QR code that linked to an NFT. So I had to
Mm.
start with the NFT. So I
Mm.
short circuited the whole thing by hiring a guy in the Ukraine off Fiverr. He was like an illustrator, and I got him to make a cartoon. I described in detail what I wanted to build to him, and he drew me a cartoon version of it because all the NFTs are cartoons, right?
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
drew,
Oh.
he drew this. Maybe I can even. Nah, do I have it on my phone?
No,
I don't.
I realize you how you circumvent that problem. It's like, well, I have to have a picture of the thing I make, but I can't make a QR code to make the thing before the thing is made.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll hire an illustrator to make a representation of what I'm going to make.
Okay.
So I hired a guy in the Ukraine to draw me a picture of the table. Then I took that and made that into an NFT.
Hmm.
So there's a couple online platforms that you can use to quote unquote mint your own NFT.
Okay.
So basically, you upload the file, you pay a little
Which
bit
is like a JPEG or whatever.
yeah, exactly. You pay a little bit of Ethereum, and they essentially take that image and upload it to the blockchain.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden you have an NFT.
Interesting.
Yes. So there's like a specific token that represents that image, which represents my table. It's all very like layers of abstraction on top of each other.
So let's and dude, I'm like a kindergartner with understanding of this stuff. So,
Mhm.
and I'm sure most of our listeners are. Let's just hypothetically say, for easy math,
Mhm.
you sell this NFT for
Yep.
$1,000. Okay. And then, Ben buys this NFT for $1,000, but then Ben trades it to Jerry.
Mhm.
Do you profit off of that Ben to Jerry sale?
Yes, so I've actually set it up in such a way that every time the table is sold, there's a small royalty that comes back to me.
Hmm.
So I think I can't remember what I said it at. It's either 10 or 20% that
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
even honestly I don't even know if anybody's going to buy it because I'm probably going to have to price it relatively high to cover the cost of shipping. So I may very well put it up at like, a thousand,
Started
two
for
thousand bucks or
Yeah, I was gonna
something
say
like
at
that.
least several $100s. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. And
hmm.
honestly, I kind of want to keep it for a little while, so I might put it up deliberately high such that nobody buys it for a while and I can just
Yeah,
hold on to it.
it's an interesting concept because I've genuinely thought about doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess something similar. Like, there's sometimes when I build something when I don't have a use for it,
Mhm.
and I'll just give it to a friend,
Yeah.
or I mean, like the dining chair that I made, like I don't like last summer or something like that. I really wanted to make a dining chair. I didn't need one. I wasn't gonna make six of them, but it's
Yeah.
just something I just really wanted to try.
Mhm.
I've considered just being like, here's a prototype. Does anybody want to buy it? And even if you make $100 off of it, like I think
Yeah.
somebody would think it was cool to have a piece that you made, right?
Yeah, totally. That's kind of the hope is that if I put it up in front of a wide enough audience, somebody will want it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a neat idea though.
it's I don't know. It like started as a joke, but then I was like, you know what? That's kind of an interesting concept, and I got to learn so much. Like I never knew anything about like how to make an NFT or how to make a QR
Yeah.
code and the other thing is it solves like when you hear people talk about NFTs, what's the number one thing that everybody says?
I don't know.
The like it's like it's a scam or it's you're just buying a JPEG or something like that,
Oh,
right?
sure, sure.
It's like there's no real value there because there's no tangible asset to
Sure.
represent it. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I get that argument.
yeah, and so do I. But I'm not. I'm not one of these people who spends millions of dollars on JPEGs of monkeys. Um, but I was like, it's an interesting use case because it kind of defeats that argument. Like, if the NFT can be tied to a physical object and represents ownership of the physical object, then it does actually have some value.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
It's a mental conundrum.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's definitely a super interesting concept. I remember when I signed up for that, actually, while I'm telling the story, I'm going to look it up. That Google thing underneath my YouTube videos where it's just like it's that Kaya, it's some like
Oh,
beta
yeah.
thing
Yes,
or
yeah.
whatever. When I signed up for it, and for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, if you go on my YouTube videos, underneath it, you can like see plans of mine as
Yeah.
like a digital storefront. But I've never seen anybody else that has access to it.
Yeah. You know
Um,
how some channels, if you go on there, if you're watching a YouTuber, sometimes their merch will be directly
yeah,
under the show, and it's usually just limited to like things that you can get on Teespring and like various other drop shipping
yeah,
websites. It's that, but it's actually linked to Eric's Squarespace store, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh man, I need that. It's probably so lucrative. Uh, Last 12 months, I've sold $0
Oh,
from it,
well,
but I've had 17,000 views.
oh, interesting. So I've watched a bunch of your videos and I saw it the first week when you first told me about it, but now I don't see it anymore. So I don't know if as part of the beta program, they're like, it's not always visible.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I set it up, but that seems odd to me that of 17,114 views,
Yeah.
I haven't sold a single thing.
Well, what's a view though? Does a view count if somebody sees it while they're watching the YouTube video?
It has to, 'cause there's no way 17,000 people have clicked on one of those.
Yeah, like I was if 17,000 people have clicked on it. I would expect at least one to buy it. But maybe if it's just being shown underneath the screen during some of your videos, like, yeah, maybe I could believe then that nobody bought anything. I don't know.
Well, so let's look at this. If I go on my website, because I sell plans on my website, you can look at the like basically not the retention rate, but what percentage of people who like click on your stuff at like a
Yeah.
sales funnel kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Point of sale, orders, inventory, discounts. I can look at all of this.
Kind of like a click-through rate or whatever.
Yeah, damn it, I'm not going to be able to find it. But anyway, it's I mean, it's a decent percentage. Like it's not
Yeah.
just something where,
Like
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
once somebody gets to your store, it's pretty likely that they're going to buy something.
Oh, here we go. Purchase funnel. Okay. So let's see. In the last week, I've had 3,970 people visit my website.
Mhm.
1,580 have viewed a product,
Mhm.
meaning that they like went on a product listing.
Yeah.
218 have
Oh.
added to the cart,
Mhm.
and 149 people have purchased something.
Okay. Okay. So you're looking at that's not bad. Like what was the original number? Like
Let's say 4,000 to 150. So that's
3-4%, something like
3 or
that.
4%, which is so
That's
they
good.
call
I
that a
mean,
conversion.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. That's the buzzword that I've heard before.
Yeah. So if you would expect the same 3 to 4% conversion off 17,000 views, you would expect what? I'm doing rough math, roughly 40 to 50 sales.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
or no, more than that,
More
right?
than
It'd
that. Yeah.
be like 3 to 400.
Yeah.
I dropped to 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've sold nothing, so it's weird.
Yeah,
But I
so
don't know.
that I don't know. I would assume then based on the numbers you gave me that that's just people being shown it at the bottom of the screen, not
Yeah,
actual people who are clicking through.
that's what I would think too. And because it is in beta, like you said, you've only seen it like once or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And
don't know.
like I'm sure your channel does way more than 17,000 views, right? So that tells me
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
they're not showing it to everybody.
yeah. Normally in a month, I'm like, I don't know, like 200,000 views or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, based on that, like like a very small fraction of people are seeing.
Yeah, and I've had it up since before we started the podcast, maybe.
Exactly. So
So
there you
several
go.
months.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I don't know. It's a beta. It is what it is, right? Oh, I wanted to say that we always harp on people to read or not read, bring in podcast reviews.
Yes.
We got one, and
Oh,
we always
nice.
say if you leave us a review,
If it's
we
funny.
will read it.
Is it funny?
This I don't know. I didn't read
Okay,
it.
okay.
This is from Sideburns 85.
Good name.
And 5-star review, by the way, we only read 5-star reviews. And the title is Lowered My Blood Pressure by 50!
Oh,
Exclamation point.
is
Is
that a
that
good
like
thing?
points?
Yeah, I don't actually know how the pressure scale works because it's like a fraction, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a one number divided by another or
Yeah.
something.
And I don't know what either of the numbers are.
If I had to guess, and I know nothing medical, it would be blood pressure. So maybe it's like the pressure of the blood going in your heart versus out of your heart, maybe?
Here's my guess then. It's like peak to trough because when your heart beats, there's probably a spike in pressure and then drop. Spike,
Oh,
drop.
okay.
So I bet
That's a
you
good
it's like,
guess.
yeah, it's like peak to trough of the pressure differential.
I couldn't tell you, but those are all good guesses. This is what we call from what we talked about last week. These are dad facts.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
just make
Mm-hmm.
things up. So anyway, if not for the Off the Cut podcast, I would probably be dead. Oof. Who would have thought that becoming a seltzer expert, cold hot dog activist, and knowing that my cheap shampoo is normal could be so life changing? Well, it's not. but in a world of anti-miter saw propaganda, these two shine bright like a diamond.
Oh,
That was a Rihanna reference too.
yes, definitely.
We appreciate that. Sideburns 85. We appreciate you.
Yes, very much so. I like the inside jokes.
When I saw propaganda, I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be a political comment. I did get some political comments on my last video though.
The one about losing everything?
Yeah, people were like, well, this wouldn't have happened if so and so wouldn't have done so and so. And I was
Oh
like,
no.
if anybody leaves any political comment, I hit the hide from
Oh yeah.
the hide thing. It's woodworking. I don't care
Yeah.
what
Yeah, fair.
belief system. If it's
Yep.
political, you're gone. That's
Yep.
not what this is for.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I have a much more laissez-faire attitude towards my comment section, which is I just don't hide anything.
The only thing I get rid of, like, keep a negative comment. I don't care. Let it rock. Political stuff, done.
Okay.
Done with it.
The one time I considered doing it was I had a friend of mine was in one of my videos, and there was like a mean comment to my friend.
Yeah, somebody dogged your friend.
Yeah, and I was like, I might delete this one. I don't think I did in the end. I was just like, I'll just assume that it's gonna stay at the bottom of the comments stack and nobody's ever gonna see it. So,
Yeah, I've noticed that if you like heart like 15 or 20 comments, you really have to dig
yeah,
to try to find a comment
exactly,
that's negative, right?
exactly. That's
And
why
if
I always
somebody goes,
laugh
like, whatever.
when people leave like some big diatribe. Like I don't even read them the first time through. You know what I mean? Like when I'm scrolling
No.
through all my comments, if it's like if I get the sense that it's negative and it's like 3 paragraphs long, I just skip.
I say thanks for your review.
Yeah, that works
It's a good
too.
one too.
Yeah.
Set up those two buddy automated responses, man.
Oh yeah, I should do that.
Oh, there it is.
You really are starting your vacation early.
Someone's got to do it. What was I gonna say? Oh, what have we been working on? That's the
Yeah, what do you got
subject
on the
we're
bench?
So, like we've kind of talked about, I've been doing so much administrative stuff recently that I actually cut some wood and made some sawdust
Nice.
this week, but it was short lived. It was like 2 or 3 days. So over at my friend's mom's house, she just has a bunch of plastic chairs around her fire pit thing, right? Because she just moved in this place. She doesn't have it fully outfitted and stuff. And I was like, hey, Cindy, do you want a bench for out here? And she's like, I would love that. And I was like, well, do you care what it looks like? She goes, no, anything you make, I'm going to be pumped. I was like, perfect. This is my kind of build, right?
Yeah.
And so I've wanted to make outdoor projects, and I've been talking to Whitney over at Craig
Mhm.
and trying to get some projects in with them for the end of the year.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, fall time. What about if we make like an outdoor project or
Oh, yeah.
whatever? And she's like,
Yeah.
love the idea. Fantastic. And so I was like, only problem, I don't have any outdoor furniture to make. And so when I found out that I could make this for my friend's mom, I was like, perfect. So I'm going to make, I think the term is called like a Nelson bench,
Oh, I gotta
where
look
it's
that up.
basically like, think of, you take a bunch of wood slats, right?
Mhm.
And then
Oh,
you join other wood slats to the top of it and make this like slatted wood bench. So
Yes,
if
yes,
it's
yes, yes.
outside, all the water can drip through it.
Yep. Yep.
However, I don't like how that's at a hard 90. So I'm actually going to make a Nelson like a Nelson inspired bench that has an angular design to it.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So it's pretty similar, but
Yeah.
I think it's definitely going to be different. And I think I don't know. I think it's one of the things where you look at it and you're going to go, that's going to snap in half. But
Right.
it's crazy strong.
Okay. I look forward to seeing this.
And I also wanted to do it with Home Depot lumber,
Mm-hmm.
not 2x4s.
Mm-hmm.
I know my friend's mom, and she is the person that will never refinish, repaint, or take care of this.
Yeah, which is most people, by the way.
Exactly. And so I'm going to lean into that in the video too. I'm making it out of cedar,
Oh yeah. Okay.
which cedar, you do not have to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
and you can just leave it outside all year long,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna patina and turn gray and
Yeah.
everything like that. It'll be
Silver.
fine.
You gotta say silver.
Silver, thank
Yeah.
you. And then the other thing that I'm gonna do to it, I actually just did it this morning, is because I know that people don't take care of their furniture, especially for outdoor pieces, it's gonna be dragged around on the rocks and
Yeah,
concrete
yeah.
and stuff. I cut the legs about a quarter to a half inch short,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna pour about a quarter or a half inch of epoxy on the bottom of it.
Oh, very clever.
So not only is it more durable, but it's also not gonna wick all that moisture up the end
Oh,
grain,
yeah, true.
cause
That's a good
premature damage.
idea.
So, like, I think it's gonna perform well,
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
and,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna see if I can double dip on the sponsorship here.
Uh-huh.
So, we've talked about, the fact that last week we talked about how I got in contact with the person that I shouted out on my video about this is the person that contacted DeWalt.
Mhm.
Well, I then got contacted by somebody at Craftsman, which
Oh, yeah.
is part of DeWalt.
Yeah, yeah. Stanley Black& and
And
Decker, the whole
yeah, the
yeah.
whole gambit, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, I just saw that you had like some new line of Craftsman tools, like a new number or abbreviation at the end of it. I don't know what the hell it is. Um, I was like, "Can I try some out?" And so they just sent me a boatload of Craftsman
Oh,
tools.
sweet. So which ones do you
Well,
get?
I got drill, impact driver, recip saw,
Nice.
circular saw,
Nice.
multi-tool, um, a bunch of batteries. I think that was it. Might have been a couple other things. I don't know. I was not
Nice.
expecting it. So I'm gonna see if they want to sponsor the video too.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've done some projects with Craftsman Canada in the past.
Did they pay to sponsor
Yep.
videos?
Yep, they did. They did.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm trying to remember what they wanted me to make plans too. But that was just cuz they had some like specific campaign they wanted to do at that
Mhm,
time.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
yeah.
But if I can double dip,
Oh, yeah.
that would be killer, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be killer. But no, it was kind of fun to like get out and work on something.
Dude,
I'm
you do
also taking the approach with this video that I did with the dining table, where I'm trying to make it unbelievably detailed. And this one's like at like 35
Oh,
minutes.
wow.
So I'm gonna try
Yeah.
some long ones
Yeah, why
because
not?
my long video that the one I just put out about the how I lost half my business was like 24 minutes, and it's doing phenomenal. So
Yeah.
maybe the long videos are where it's at.
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know.
I did 2 shorter videos recently, and they haven't performed as well.
Yeah.
Like even though the click through rate is good, I'm just because they don't have that the average view duration isn't
Yeah.
as high. I feel like they haven't been doing as well. So
My video that I did on how to get free tools, the click through rate is still it's like 14 to 16%
oh, that's crazy.
still.
Yeah,
And it's only got like 4 or 5,000 views.
yeah. That's I don't understand that.
But it's like a 10-minute video.
Right, right.
So maybe it's just the
Yeah,
watch time is too short.
yeah, yeah. Might be, might be.
Hmm. I don't know.
um.
What else you got coming up? You got anything else you're excited for coming up
Yeah, I'm
in the fall, end of summer?
I got I'm working because I knew this job, the QR code table was going to be pretty labor intensive. I have another project on the go at the same time, which is kind of like half science experiment, half build. And
Mm.
so those like
Like
wire.
something you've had in your mind for a while that you just wanted to like get out.
Yeah, exactly. So
Uh-huh.
those wireless charger things, you put your phone on it, it charges your phone.
Yes, never used one.
Yeah, so I want to make a see-through one of those by just encasing it in epoxy.
So, did that stem from the conversation we had about removing the back of your phone and making like a clear phone back?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, dude, I
Exactly.
love it.
Yeah, so I've always loved like the see-through cases on stuff. I love seeing like
Yeah.
the inner workings of it. But the question is, you put a piece of electronics in epoxy, is it gonna melt itself down? Like, is it gonna keep all that heat in there? And
Yeah.
so the charger itself is 10 watts. And I had a conversation with Ecopoxy. They're like, our epoxy kind of just starts to discolor around like 15 to 20 watts. But
Okay.
it's how fast can it dissipate heat? I also don't know if it's going to block, like it's going to block the signal.
I don't know.
Will it go through epoxy? I don't know. So that's why it's like experiment. It's like, yeah, it's such a science experiment.
But here's the thing. During the video, you should totally lean into I don't know if this is gonna work.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
keep saying that.
Yeah.
So then you can hook people and they'd be
Yeah.
like, well, I gotta know, is it gonna work? Is it gonna work?
Yeah.
Is it gonna
Yeah.
work?
Yeah.
And if it fails, dude, just lean in to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Well,
failed.
I'm pretty sure it's going to at least work a little bit. And then if it doesn't work, it's going to fail in a catastrophic way. So that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah. Like, what if it melted?
Exactly,
And, like, the
right?
epoxy came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But you said you had an epoxy contact that you were talking to, right?
yes, ecopoxy. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, if not, message Kristen at Total Boat and
Oh, yeah.
she could help you out too.
Okay.
But
I'm
if
gonna-
you already got like, ecopoxy, you're all good.
Yeah, well, the problem with ecopoxy is, I mean, they do make my favorite epoxy, and I'm not just saying that because they give me free epoxy. Flowcast. It's great, and it's like you get no bubbles in it,
Yeah.
but takes 3 days to cure. So
Yes. I always buy the slow hardener of the Total Boat stuff.
yeah. So I did it once already, and I didn't like the results I got. So what I did was I cast a solid block of epoxy, and then
Mhm.
I had the CNC mill out a little area.
Okay.
I put the wireless charger in there, and then I filled it back up with epoxy.
Okay.
It looks pretty good, but it's not like perfectly see-through.
Yeah.
You can kind of see.
It's gonna do polishing. That's gonna be your demise.
Yeah. Oh, I know I'm in for a lot of polishing, but you could kind of see the inside where I had milled it to make room for the epoxy. So I went back to the drawing board. I found a way to like suspend the wireless charger in epoxy. So I just cast it in like a single shot of solid epoxy. So I think that'll be a lot
Okay.
clearer.
Okay.
But it was a little bit more trouble to set it up.
So you know what you need to do to polish this is your Rotex RO90, that 3-inch one.
Yep.
Put that in Rotex mode.
Okay.
And you can buy any automotive polish. Like you can buy the Festool stuff, but I'm sure anything you find at the auto parts store will be cheaper.
Yeah.
And then get like a foam or like cotton like bonnet to go on the Rotex, because when you put it in Rotex mode, it's gear driven, so it'll polish the hell out of that.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a good tip.
Way faster than sandpaper. Just get different compounds
Yeah.
that have like a different liquid grit, and
Okay,
it'll
okay.
do super well.
Okay, sweet. I have a bunch of those like foam pads for like polishing my car. I already have a bunch of those, but I don't have the different like grits where it's in the liquid. So I should get those
Yeah,
too.
I don't think a bottle of liquid, like, was it called, like, polishing compound? I don't think
Yeah.
it's more than maybe like $8 to $10
They're
a
pretty
bottle.
cheap. They're pretty cheap. So
Which, I mean, if you're doing this on YouTube, that's an irrelevant cost,
yeah, exactly.
right?
DeWalt actually makes a cordless polisher, so I was thinking about hitting them up, but we'll see. I already asked them for a couple things this month.
Yeah, well, I mean, if not, then you can for sure use the Rotex.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I already have the Rotex too, so
Yeah, it's
that
I
will.
saw that on Instagram that DeWalt has a cordless biscuit jointer.
I have it. Yeah,
Does it work well?
I haven't found a use for it yet. I'll let you know once I use
I
it.
thought you were gonna say I haven't taken it out of the box yet.
No, I've used it like just practicing, but I haven't actually found like a good project for it yet. Maybe I'll actually use it on the QR code table to like put a little border around the table or something.
I'm using my DeWalt. What is this? Power XR Power Detect Angle Grinder box
Oh, yeah.
as the stand to prop my laptop on
Perfect.
as I'm doing this live stream. So I haven't opened that yet, but
Nice. So that's which one is that? Is that the XR?
XR something. This one's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it because I've not used it.
Yeah.
I asked her to send me the one that, in order for it to turn on, you have to squeeze the handle, and as soon as you let the handle go, it turns off.
Yes, it's got a break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so key with an angle grinder.
Yeah.
I have
like it. I
I
think
have-
it's a safety thing.
Yeah, it 100% is. And it's also just more efficient when you're working. As soon as you're done with the tool, just put it down on the table. As instead of just like the old school angle grinders take so long to spin down. I would
Oh, yeah.
often just put it down on the table and be like, oh, the friction will slow it down,
Or
like
just
still be
get-
spinning.
Put the pad on the table and like just ruin your table. Be like, "Oh, it'll
Exactly.
slow it
Yeah.
down."
Yeah. Yeah. I've done that a number of times.
Well, you know what I didn't think would be a massive difference, but is?
What?
I've had that Ryobi cordless router, and like of Ryobi tools, the little like palm router thing. I was
Hmm.
like, "This is a pretty good router." I mean, the collet on it sucked; it broke 100 times. But
Oh,
like
really? Oh, that's
the
brutal.
functionality of a router, I was like, I got no complaints. It's a nice router.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Emily from DeWalt sent me whatever their cordless palm router thingy is. Dude, and it was the one you were telling me like about like rotating the sleeve thing or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yes.
I used it on this bench that I'm working on. That thing is lights out, way better than the Ryobi one.
I have not touched a corded router. Outside, I guess I have my router table. There's a router in there, but I used to have a corded trim router. Have not touched that since I got the
That thing
DeWalt
has
one.
some guts to it.
Yeah, yeah,
And the on-off switch is a little funky.
yeah.
Um,
I never know where it is. I spend a lot of time looking for that
I
on-off
always
switch.
put my thumb on the complete
Battery.
180 degree of it,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
and then I have to flip the router around. However, it has that instant break.
Yes.
And again, this isn't sponsored. I'm just genuinely like excited about it.
Yeah.
As soon as you turn the router off, it just goes zzz,
Yeah.
and it's done. I was like, that's nice.
Yeah. Would the Ryobi one spin down?
Yeah, but I mean, the spin down was pretty quick, like maybe like 2 or 3 seconds.
Okay, so that's not horrible, but still, like the
But I mean,
faster you
how
stop, the better.
often? Yeah, how often do you go use a router and then immediately flip it over and then like you do kind of run the possibility of sticking your finger in there
Yeah.
like unintentionally,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that router game changer. I'm gonna get rid of the Ryobi one or give it to a friend or something like that.
It's a good router because when you turn it on, it like if you're just holding it in your hand, it jerks because it's got so much torque that as it's spinning up, it's got its own little momentum to it.
I do wish it had kind of like a soft start to
A
it
soft
though.
start, yeah, it might be kind of nice, but what are you gonna
But I'm not the one designing these tools. But
do?
no, seriously, if anybody's in the DeWalt platform, go buy that
Yeah,
router.
yeah, it's great.
They're not paying Zach or I either money for saying that, but genuinely, it's a great router.
Yeah.
I saw that you did a sponsored thing for DeWalt. Are they finally paying you?
No, so they were like that. So it was actually kind of interesting. They they wanted that to be appear as like a sponsored post, even though it wasn't. Um, Basically, their thing was like, look, we've been supporting you with tools. Like, we just want you to do a real quick video where you talk about your favorite DeWalt tool? And I was like, okay, sure, I can do
Fair.
that. And so I did do that for them, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna post it on our page, we're gonna post it on your page, do that like collaboration thing that I had never done before. But for whatever reason they wanted it to be sponsored, so I was like, okay, or like appear as sponsored, so I just did it.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of brands, they're very worried about what is it like the FTC thing
Yeah,
or whatever the
yeah,
hell it is,
yeah,
where the brand can, well, you and I and the brand can get in trouble.
yeah.
It's unlikely to happen with us because we're not like multi-million follower accounts.
Kim
But
Kardashian.
yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody like her, if she does a sponsored post and like gets paid a boatload of money to promote Pepsi or whatever,
Yeah.
and doesn't disclaim that is an ad,
Yeah.
they both her and Pepsi can get fined just an ass load of money.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Um,
I guess from a legal standpoint, I get it. I don't know. It's interesting because yeah, I mean, I guess what constitute sponsored, right? Like
yeah.
no money changed hands to make that specific video, but they've sent me tools in the past when I've asked. So does that count as like
Technically, it's monetary compensation.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you could make the argument, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah, definitely. And I
I
mean,
know.
I mean, I guess from my perspective, I mean, it's, I guess it's better to over disclose rather than under disclose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually noticed a kind of a shift within the last maybe couple months where the few woodworkers that I do follow on YouTube and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and other people outside of the woodworking space and whatnot. A lot of people now, without saying anything, maybe they're using a certain, yeah, I don't know, uh, a certain piece of equipment or a tool or whatever. They'll just be like, tool provided by DeWalt,
Oh,
sponsor this video,
interesting.
add gifted product, and just like small text on the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
And just to be transparent, and like,
Yeah. I might
I
start doing
don't
that.
think anything negative about that.
No, no, I might start. I want like the relationship to be as transparent as possible for my audience, right? Like I want to, I
Yeah,
don't know, you want it to be as honest as you possibly can, right? Sometimes
yeah,
I just, like I won't even have a sponsor for the video, but I will just check that box that says, does this video contain any paid
yeah. Do
endorsement?
the same thing.
Yeah, because it's like I would rather just, like I'm sure at some point in every video some free tool is going to show up or something like
Sure,
that, right? So,
exactly.
yeah.
Like if you're using a DeWalt tool, you probably the majority that you were given by your guy from DeWalt.
I wonder. That's an interesting question. It's probably like it's close to like a 50-50 split between what I bought and what I've gotten for free from them.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah. But anytime I
Well,
use the CNC, like I'll throw up the thing then and like yeah, it's sometimes it's easier just to check that box rather than yeah.
I just realized that we forgot to do one of our favorite segments.
Uh-oh.
We get a voice message.
Oh, we got a voice message?
Well, I was gonna say we're at an hour and 5,
I know. What should we do?
but we gotta sell these voice messages because I love the voice
Okay,
messages,
let's
and we
let's
want
just do
more
it.
people to do this.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
This is from Craig, one of our patrons.
Okay, that correct. Okay, cool.
It's the man, it's the myth, it's the legend. It's Craig, the original OG patron. Okay, gentlemen, if you could only have one fast food restaurant you can eat at for the rest of your life,
Oh,
who's going to
Craig.
be your pick?
Oh no.
Is your go-to item. All right? Let's think long and hard about this, gentlemen. All right?
This is
P-Trap, Power Caulk, go.
This
God,
is
that's
a
good.
great question. This is the when I was like, let's start a Q and answer show or Q&A show. This is the type of stuff I thought we'd be talking about all the time. Oh boy. Oh boy. Do you have a answer off the top of your head?
Fast food restaurant.
I could narrow it down to a couple, probably 3 places.
So, I guess the way I'm a very logical, methodical person when I
Mm-hmm.
answer these questions a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you my logical, methodical answer,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to give you my no logic answer.
Okay.
Okay. So my logical answer is what restaurant, and we rarely go out to dinner, like maybe 2 or 3 times a month, like
Mm-hmm.
max. We buy food. Um, I'm trying to think of what place do I visit and buy food from more often than any other place. And for me, it's Chipotle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's because I can, of all the fast food places, I can make a relatively healthy decision and
Yeah.
know exactly what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And it's not like deep fried stuff.
That's the best stuff.
I'd say Chipotle. And for
Okay.
Chipotle, we're going burrito.
Mm-hmm.
We're going white rice, black beans, and here's where I make a variety change. If I look in the bin and the fajitas
Oh, yeah.
look fresh,
Yeah.
go for the fajitas.
Okay. Okay.
But if they look like a sad puppy,
Mhm.
you're skipping that.
Okay.
Okay. After you make your fajita decision, then the next decision you have to make is the meat.
Mhm.
And if I literally just saw them put the steak in the bin,
Oh, yeah.
I would get the steak.
Mhm.
Otherwise, skip the steak. And
What
I
other
don't know if you
options are there?
well, you got barbacoa, you got
Oh, wow. Okay.
chicken, carnitas, you got so I don't even know if you have all these options because Columbus is a test market for food.
I was gonna say, I feel like the Chipotle's here in Canada might be like more pared down.
Yeah. And so we have chicken, um, barbacoa, carnitas, sofritas, which is soy.
Oh,
There's another kind of like pork option, but I've never gotten it. And then there's a new chicken option that's called pollo adobo or something like that. It's like a garlic chipotle flavor that's phenomenal.
Okay, that does sound
Um,
nice.
I always go with the pollo adobo
Mhm.
unless the steak is like mintly fresh.
Okay.
So I go chicken, and then I'm gonna get hot 2 scoops of hot sour cream, cheese, lettuce, and corn, maybe with the side of bag of chips.
Okay. Wow, I like it.
Yeah. What do you?
Okay.
Okay. What's your go-to fast food place?
My
So you got to
okay.
answer it. Which one do you go to the most often, and then change to the no
Yeah.
limits.
So here is my go-to safe bet. Enjoy it every single time I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
I go for the I go to Wendy's.
Baconator.
Baconator. Yes, exactly. That's my safe bet. You know, like if
Yeah.
if I can't, you know, like I'm like, oh, I don't know what I want to eat today, you know. Boom, Wendy's Baconator. Always happy. Now, that being said, I might have to go Taco Bell on this. And Taco
Yep.
Bell
Yep.
always gets me excited. I will never not be excited to go get Taco Bell. And
No.
here's my order at Taco Bell.
Let's hear it.
Whatever the novelty special is of the day. If it's
Absolutely.
exactly, you know, and that's what I love the most about Taco Bell. They're always innovating. They're always
Yeah.
trying new things. So, you know, it might be a burrito with a bunch of flaming hot Cheetos in it. It might
Do
be
you
a
want to see what the Taco Bell special is today in
yes,
Columbus?
please. Yes, please.
Keep going. Keep going.
It might be a taco where the shell is a Dorito. Whatever it is, I'm down for it. And I'm yeah. I mean, you know, maybe I throw in a burrito, a couple soft tacos off the menu, whatever. We you know, you experiment with the add-ons, but I'm always going for that specialty option. Ooh,
Oh my God, dude.
Eric's eyes are huge right
I
now.
am going to Taco Bell soon.
Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of people know this about me, but Miranda knows this. I
I'm gonna look it up, see if it's the
never
same in
get more
Canada.
excited than when, holy shit, I'm getting this. If she comes home with a box of Cheez-Its,
Yeah.
Cheez-Its are my love language. I never buy
Cheez-Its.
them.
What is a Cheez-It? A Cheez-It is
It's
a
like the little orange crackers, the little like
oh,
cheese flavored crackers with a little
okay.
salt on top of
Yes,
them.
yeah, okay. I know
Yeah.
those.
If I come home and I get a box of Cheez-Its, I am beyond thrilled. And so anyway, Taco Bell's newest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. It says they're only available in one Irvine, California restaurant.
Oh no, that's heartbreaking.
Damn.
Have you ever
My heart's
seen
broken?
Have you ever seen those Taco Bell cantinas where they serve booze and stuff and like a nice high-end Taco Bell?
No.
Yeah, I think they might only be in certain markets, but I've heard of them. I've never actually
God,
been to one.
I
I
need
was
to
kind
go
of
there.
hoping you had. Oh, and also, here's another Taco Bell fun fact. They released a wine. Here,
What?
yeah, or was it a wine? I think it was Taco Bell
I
alcohol.
want to go to Taco Bell for dinner.
I
Taco
know.
Bell selling its first red wine.
Yeah, okay, so it was red wine. And
It's a Pinot Noir.
dude,
Jalapeno Noir.
yes, exactly. I was refreshing the Taco Bell website because I was like, I gotta get one of these. It was like $15. I was like, this is a hilarious gag.
Yeah.
And I was
$19. Yeah.
okay, yeah, $19. I was refreshing the page. There was so much
Son of a
traffic
bitch.
that I couldn't get it. They were sold out.
Came out in 2020.
Yeah.
September 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Or at least that's when this article.
I was sitting in my truck in a Home Depot parking lot, just refreshing my phone, trying to get it to load, and it wouldn't.
That's a shame.
Heartbreaking. And then I'll just say real quick, runner up after Taco Bell, probably Popeyes.
Okay. So, yeah, no, my order at Taco Bell is 100% whatever the newest thing is, and then maybe like a couple soft tacos or
Yeah.
crunchy tacos. Maybe like a Crunchwrap Supreme thrown in there.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who we used to get competitive when we would order at the Taco Bell. Like we would just, you know,
How
like
so?
one guy would go up and do his order, and then the next guy's
I
job
get
would be
one
to
more
like
taco.
no, but like outdo him. Like you gotta. It's not just volume. You gotta think like pairings.
Oh, okay. So like if somebody's like, I want 2 soft tacos, you're gonna be like, I went 2 soft tacos in a Crunchwrap Supreme, and you're like,
Exactly.
bold
Yes.
order.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before we go, I want to hit you with this.
Okay.
So this is from CNN. Taco Bell's testing a new menu item with a beloved snack food. The fast food chain hopes the creation can replicate the success of its Doritos shells. The experiment, a massive Cheez-It, which is 16 times the standard size, which serves as the base for the Taco Bell's new Big Cheez-It Tostada.
Oh,
The
I'm so
meal
down for this.
layers. Well, let me get your mouth watering because neither of us have had dinner yet.
Mm-hmm.
The meal layers ground beef, sour cream, tomatoes, lettuce, and cheddar cheese on its massive cheesy cracker for $2.49. It's described as an abundantly cheesy and nostalgic, yet modernly magical dining experience.
Wow. They really crammed a
Holy
lot of words
hell.
in there. I would have that. Are there
need that.
pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Google.
Talk about Cheez-It.
What did I Google? Taco Bell new item, and it was under the Google thing where it says what people also ask, and it's a CNN article
Oh, okay.
just called oversized Cheez-It.
Oh, wow. That does look
That
good.
looks nice. So if you guys are watching this, you owe yourself to Google this thing.
Whoa, check out this. Is this a Crunchwrap Supreme with a giant Cheez-It in it?
Yeah. So there are 2 different ones.
Oh.
One is like a tostada where it's basically just like a giant Cheez-It with a bunch of junk on top of it.
Mhm.
And the other one is, if you're familiar with the Crunchwrap Supreme, which is basically a giant, it's a like a hard taco that they wrap a soft taco around it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I gotta get in on this.
Yeah. Road trip down to California?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
I'll pick you up.
I'm canceling vacation.
Yeah, the vacation's over.
I'm gonna tell Miranda, be like, beach vacation's over. We're going to California. She's gonna be like, oh no way, and be like, for Taco Bell.
All right.
What was I gonna say? How am I teasing the after show?
Mm-hmm.
We're at 1 hour and 16 minutes in.
Yeah, might be a shorter after show now that we've talked
It's
about
gonna
Taco
be
Bell.
slightly shorter.
Yeah.
But what I want to talk about in the after show, and I want to genuinely get your thoughts on this. You know, I've had a nightmare of a time working with Timberland Pro.
Mm-hmm.
They asked to renew my contract.
Oh.
So we'll get into the numbers and everything in the after show.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's a nightmare.
I think it's time for a little strategy you like to call the FU price.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting into.
Okay.
But, everybody, genuinely, thank you so much for the continued support, and especially the support on my last video. I genuinely appreciate it. We have a blast doing the podcast. So if you have anybody else that you think might be interested in, send it to them.
Yeah. Send us your voice notes.
Yeah, please. I love the voice notes because I don't listen to them. I leave a note that we have a voice note, and I just play it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, don't do anything stupid.
Nothing political.
We're not going to edit the podcast.
What else we got? Send us email with your questions.
Mm-hmm.
Send us DMs on Instagram. Watch the live stream on YouTube if you're not already. Shout out to the people in the live stream chat. Ooh, that's the other reason I want to make that wireless charger thing, is because I want to put the YouTube chat up on my phone, and I want it to be like propped up and looking at me, and also charging my phone at the same time.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's gonna be like
actually, I want to give a shout out. We have a new what do you call it? Viewer?
Oh. Who's
Viewer
this?
on the live stream. Mark. Oh God. Garneau?
Is any one of our
I don't think so.
No,
But,
okay.
Mark, thanks for stopping by, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah. I thought he was a patron. Am I crazy?
I don't know.
Okay. Also, support us on Patreon. You get the after show. You get priority questions. I'm trying to think if we give any other benefits. I mean, if you message us,
T-shirts.
T-shirts. Yeah, you get
on there.
T-shirts. You get merch. We'll
coffee mugs, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, send us messages. We'll chat with you. All the fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And we also have the super duper top tier patrons that will get access to do live streams and stuff with us. We haven't had anybody sign up for that, but it is an option.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know
all
if you
there.
knew that, but it is an option.
I didn't know that.
All right, everybody, we are going to head over to the after show. I'm going to gas up the plane. That way we can go to California, get that Taco Bell for the after show.
Hell yeah.
But we'll see you next week. You got anything to say, Zach?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, just if we get enough patrons, then we're going to get a jet, and we're going to jet down to California on a regular basis and just
We'll
get Taco
fly
Bell.
the patrons down to try that Taco Bell.
Ooh, that would be fun. Yeah.
Hey, if we get enough patrons, we'll send them all a bottle of Taco Bell wine.
You might not even be able to get it anymore, but we'll figure it out. We'll find.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Taco John. All right, that's
All right.
enough of this.
This
All
thing's going off the rails quick.
We're running off the rest. We'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.
See you, everybody. All right.
It's probably our longest main show yet.
Yeah, 119. That's pretty good. So, the name of the episode is.
So I've got either where they make an NFT.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or something about Taco Bell.
Yeah.
What do you want?
The one where they cash in on the NFT craze.
I like it.